Hello, Crosspoint Church family. I am so excited to celebrate with you this Sunday, September 13th at 11:30 a.m., our 10-year anniversary. Think about that. That is 10 years of God using you to fulfill our mission to lead people to be passionate followers of Christ and to show those who think church is not for them that we and God are for everyone. I want to especially thank Pastor Kevin Jack, the founding pastor, and those original core families who stepped out in faith and sacrificed to be able to bring us into this new church and this 10 years of existence together, fulfilling that mission and vision. And I also want to thank all of you, whether you've been with us for those 10 years or for the last few weeks, your part in serving and giving and praying and loving and helping us live out that mission. We wouldn't be here 10 years later without you. And not only do I want to celebrate what God has done in the last 10 years, but I really believe that this Sunday is a great day to celebrate and anticipate what God might want to do among us in the next 10 years. And so I want to invite you to pray about 5 things specifically for the next 10 years with me. Would you pray with me that in the next 10 years that God would grow us in deepening our discipleship? You've made it very clear to us that you're not just interested in coming to church on Sunday morning for an hour and feeling good. You really want God to change your life and to bring about transformation in your families and those you care about and work with, and even in our greater communities. And so we want to grow in that way. And one of the ways that we're going to start that this next 10 years is in October, something called a 40-day spiritual challenge. So be watching for that. But pray for a deepening of our discipleship. Number 2, would you pray with us in a multiplication of leadership? We understand that the mission and vision that God has given us for these 7 counties that we represent is too big for any one or even one small group of people to lead forward in. And so we want to create a culture of multiplication where every leader is raising up a new leader. Every volunteer is raising up the next volunteer, because we can do more for God and His kingdom together than we can alone. Number 3, I would invite you to pray in the next 10 years that we would continue to be a church that is on the go. We understand in our present culture we can no longer simply sit back, invite, and wait for people to come and meet us and be introduced to Christ on Sunday morning. We have to get outside our building after Sunday worship, go into where we work and live and play, and our kids go to school, and share the good news, both in deeds and in words, so that people know that God's love is for them right where they are. And so pray with us that we'll continue to find needs in the community and find ways to creatively meet those needs in all of our counties that we represent, that we'll be a church that is on the go. And then 3rd, would you pray that God might open the door in these next 10 years for us to plant even more campuses? You know, we understand that the best way for those 7 different counties that we represent to have your friends and your family come and worship and grow in becoming a passionate follower of Christ is for us to remove the obstacle of distance and to plant campuses right where people live, like we've done in Augusta, like we've done in East End and online. And so would you pray for us that that would expand? We're even praying that God, through our online community, we might start a new campus that is outside of those 7 counties, maybe in another state, maybe in another region of our country, and who knows, maybe in another world area. So would you pray with us that in the next 10 years we would see that happen? And would you also pray that in these next 10 years we would truly tip the scales? You know, scientific research has shown that anywhere around 10% of a population that is changed for the good will tip the scales exponentially in the greater population for a greater change for good. And do you realize that if we use that number that we talk about at 50,000 people who claim no religious affiliation in a 10-mile radius of the Maysville campus, that if we would grow by another 4,000 people on Sunday mornings in the next 10 years, that we can actually begin to tip the scales and see this exponential positive change of people in that population group coming to know Christ and their lives being transformed and our communities being transformed. Would you pray for us to grow in that way, for that purpose, to be able to tip the scales for something good and something better that God has for us in our communities? I just want to thank you so much for the fact that you are getting behind what we're going to do to celebrate this Sunday's 10-year anniversary at 11:30 a.m. by signing up on our app, Crosspoint Now, to be with us, to come for a 30-minute outdoor worship service in one of the 4 locations that we've listed, representing the 7 counties that we have, and then having a free lunch together, and then during that lunch, filling out some cards for nursing home residents and making posters for the parades that we're going to do, and then we're going to go to 5 different nursing homes that have approved us coming. We're going to give them gifts that they've requested for the residents. We're having the staff have a free lunch. We're going to be able to do parades around the buildings and wave to people through the windows. And we're going to shower them over these next weeks with cards of encouragement and pictures from the kids to let them know that God is for them. And that in this time of isolation and loneliness, that whatever we can, even in a small way, we want to reach out and be a touch of God's grace and comfort at this time. And also, be thinking about maybe you would want to be a pen pal for past this Sunday. That during this time when they can't have visits, the nursing home residents could get cards regularly and get to know you and me as a church through our writing of a card once a week. So would you consider that and come this Sunday and invite a friend, and let's get ready to celebrate not only what God has done, but what God is getting ready to do next. Thank you.